Wow. We did it. This is a positive episode, guys. We have a positive episode of the Mets'd podcast. The Mets win a series against the Seattle Mariners, a very, very good baseball team. One of the best in the American League, a World Series contender. And just as things felt like they were doom and gloom and hand up, after that game on Friday, I really thought the season was very much over. And hand up, I'm totally back in. Beat the Mariners, take 2 of 3, win the game in Williamsport, right? Not Williamsburg, Williamsport. And Nolan McLean, we got his debut. We got a lot to talk about, as we always do. Shout out you guys for listening, sticking around. This is why you stick around, because when things turn around, that's when we get a fun episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel if you want to see the video version of this. Shout out to all our members over there who get early access to these videos. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on our social media, at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Shout out the intern. All right, James. Series win. Something we haven't had many of recently. How we feeling?
Well, first one, literally 3 weeks since the sweep in San Francisco. But we've been saying for the last few weeks, it felt like something external was going to have to be the thing that brought this team together, united them, kind of pushed them back on the right path if it was to ever happen. And it seems like that was just Nolan McLean. It seems like the jolt that got from his debut, how well he pitched in front of a sellout crowd at Citi Field. Shout out to the Juan Soto bobblehead day. Where our guy Joe, we met in center field, so he got there at 9:30 in the morning to get that Juan Soto bobblehead, be first in line. But
from Delaware, he left at 7 a.m. That's crazy.
The atmosphere in the stadium was spectacular on Saturday, front to back good. With the McLean debut, with the sellout, with nice weather, with a 4 o'clock game. It was perfect front to back. It was really, really, really an amazing day in that ballpark. And it felt like for the first time in a month or so that this team was playing with invigorated baseball.
Yeah. While they still didn't score many runs because they were singles kings on Saturday.
Brian Wu, whatever.
Yeah, Brian Wu, he's a good pitcher. It's fine. Sometimes you are not going to score runs, especially because they were hitting the ball. It would have been better to get more, but it's okay. We win. McLean was great. But even just from the managerial side, Mendoza felt like he pressed all the right buttons, made all the right process decisions in that game as well. I thought he handled the bullpen perfectly on Saturday. I thought he did a good job on Sunday as well. It felt like the Mets were cohesive, which is something that we haven't felt in months with this roster and this organization. A cohesion that just really has not been there.
And we're going to talk about McLean a lot too, but then just sticking with the Mendoza stuff in the team on Saturday. The timely hitting, finally. It's the little things. To get that insurance run on a Juan Soto sacrifice fly, that's awesome. Brett Beatty, 2 hits to lead off innings, came around to score the first 2 Mets runs of that game. Both times he got leadoff hits. And then Pete Alonso hitting the double to give us more insurance also in that 7th inning. So just stretching it out to a spot where you were comfortable, because of course we did still give up a run. The ball, Edwin Diaz still gave up a home run that 9th inning, but just getting that game and getting that situation to a spot where you could relax a little bit and you didn't feel like the walls were closing in again. Because after Friday, it did feel like that. So now give me the juxtaposition before we get deep in on McLean. What were the vibes like in the stadium Friday night?
Oh, bad. Horrendous. I mean, Manaea had nothing from the start. We saw that. We all watched the game. He had nothing. And the stadium was displeased early. But then we hit. And then he didn't have it again. But then we hit. And then he didn't have it again. And people were losing their mind. Shout out Jeff McHitz, formerly known as Jeff McHitz. Shout out Clay, our buddy Clay. It was his birthday, turned 25, just so young. It's crazy to be that young. He's a child. But Clay's a good dude. We were walking up to the upper decks to go join him and all his friends for his birthday to watch the game. And as I'm walking up the stairs, a bunch of Met fans in the upper decks, when Manaea's giving up home runs, were blaming Mendoza, screaming about how you got to fire him, you got to fire Stearns, this team's a disgrace, what a horrible, horrible job this team has done. And while those sentiments did feel pretty significant in the moment, I do think that was a good example of what was going on in Citi Field that night. A lot of very, very disgruntled people, especially then when the bullpen came in with a lead. Ryan Helsley blew it again. Can't come out to Hell's Bells anymore. Has to stop. No more Hell's Bells for him. I think he just needs to be treated like he's Brooks Raley rather than Ryan Helsley. Just come out to whatever song you want and be normal. Blew that. Then Frankie Montas comes in, gives up more runs, absolutely stinks it up. That guy is a disgrace right now.
You said runs with an S. 1 run. He only gave up 1 run.
Okay. Only gave up 1 run, but he still stunk it up. He's still, oh God, I can't believe how bad he is. But positives, Francisco Alvarez hit. Francisco Lindor is all the way back. Juan Soto continues to hit. There were offensive positives. Defensively, pitching-wise, pitching-wise more so than defense. Pitching was just so bad. And if this team does really want to have a run, when I say that, I believe that they're back. That's more of like being a playoff team right now and a team that can make the playoffs, because I didn't think that they were going to after Friday night. But Manaea has to be better. He cannot pitch like he did on Friday night. He has to be a legitimate starting pitcher, and he's yet to be that this year for the Mets.
Oh, you could feel it from the first couple pitches this game where Randy Rosarena, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, first 3 batted balls, 111, 105, 103, and they're taking war hacks, just pissing on the ball. And you're like, this is actually really bad. Even Dominic Canzone, another hard hit ball at the end of that to end that inning. And then this first bat of the next inning, Mitch Garver, 105-mile-an-hour rocket. Wasn't even supposed to be in the game. Mitch Garver, noted Mets killer.
Sucks.
But it was just, they were completely teeing off on him. Again, luckily this was the first game in a little bit. Well, not really because it's the Carrasco game, but the offense really came around. This was now the absolute locking in of the Francisco Lindor hot streak. You're like, okay, yes, now we're finally here. In 10 at-bats between Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Francisco Lindor raised his OPS by 40 points.
Yeah, it's huge.
And even another 10 more points as we went on the rest of this weekend. Now he's up above 780 as of end of play on Sunday. So it's a spot where he's back. But
it's right around Bo Bichette's OPS for the season. He's got the most hits in baseball, Bo Bichette.
But Bo Bichette, people are saying he's having one of the best seasons in the whole league. But it's just, it was a gut punch to lose this game with 9 runs after you hit Luis Castillo, just because the bullpen was abysmal. And I really do want to start talking about McLean soon. But now we're just kind of moving chronologically. When Helsley came into that game, it seems like that, this is going to sound funny, the song might be working against him.
Yeah.
Because he seems a little bit too amped up. He can't locate anything. None of these pitchers are going where they're intended to go. David Cohn even mentioned in the broadcast Sunday night, he was like, because Ravitch was like, what's going on, Helsley? What do you see? He's like, that command. He has fastballs all over the place. And I thought that maybe there was kind of a double-edged sword here where Mendoza was trying to bring him in for the 7th inning, but it was also against the heart of the order. It was Raleigh, Rodriguez, Suarez, and 2 of those 3 guys reached base. 2 of the hits went for extra bases. Mariners had 9 doubles in this game, approaching a major league record. It was just, and then the problem is Brooks Raley, someone who has been someone we've relied upon most of this year. He came in, he was significantly far worse, and that was, again, he was put to not that grave situations. A guy in second, you have already given up the lead, but then he just completely let the implosion happen to the bottom of the order. So it's a shame that we fortified this bullpen so much, and it's still the problem with this team. But we have to push Ryan Helsley away from high leverage spots, I think, for the time being. I think this was the Mendoza trying to I still trust you. This is the spot I want to use you in. You're a best high leverage reliever that's not Edwin Diaz, objectively, theoretically. And here are the best hitters in the lineup. Go get them out. Hell's bells, woo. And it's a catastrophe right now. I won't go so far as catastrophe, but it's just he needs to, the heart rate seems very high when he's in the game.
It's tough to have a guy who blew 3 games in a row come out to Hell's bells like that and be like, you know what, I am excited for Ryan Helsley to pitch in this game. Because right now, even on Sunday, I was like, Ryan Helsley, I've seen this one before. Please, not again, man. Please.
And then even again, it takes him 25 pitches to get through that inning where it's just all right, come on. But it was relative trust right there. I mean, also, Reed Garrett's also been terrible. Again, now it's getting worse and worse and worse for him. So
he's got an option.
He actually might be the guy that makes sense. But some of these guys they have to pitch better. There's no other reinforcements coming. There's nothing else that's going to change. These have to be the high leverage guys. Again, if it's possible, I'd like to
give me Ryan Lambert.
Why not bring him up? And now we got McLean up. Let's call everyone's let's call all the prospects up. The amount of people's Jonathan Tong right now, which that might actually not even be that horrible of an idea. But Nolan McLean might have saved the season. Is that honest to say?
Yeah, I mean, there was a different vibe around the stadium. There was a different vibe, it felt like, on the field. The hitters came ready to play. They came out swinging. Again, not a ton of runs because Brian Wu does limit runs incredibly well. And the fastball's unbelievable. He's a real treat to watch pitch.
Told you, my number one guy.
I know, it's your boy. I get why you didn't score as many runs. It's tough. Sometimes you just take your singles and you get your big hits when you need them, and the Mets score their 3 runs. But I do feel like, and especially the big turning moment was that insane double play he turned, the behind the back, threw a beautiful throw to second base, which you don't see a lot from pitchers. Pitchers on the throw to second base always end up just completely shitting down their leg. We saw Gregory Soto do that earlier in the year. You've seen pitchers do it countless times. McLean seed right to Brett Beatty, turned a double play out of the inning, and that was a moment where if McLean didn't get that double play, he's probably out of the game right then and there. He ends up going 5 1/3 innings, strikes out 8. A fantastic debut. There are still things he has to work on. He's not perfect yet, But that curveball, that slider, those are two of the best pitches in baseball right now. They're filthy. They're insane.
I even think in tandem, it might be one of the best pairs of breaking balls that any pitcher has and uses consistently. Like, that was the whole key for him. It is also funny to say now in retrospect, based on what we know he did in that outing, that he could have been out of the game in the third inning if that double play wasn't turned. But I think it's true. It seemed like a big part of this game was the reluctance, and I think the rightful reluctance of Carlos Mendoza to let McLean face these tough lefties multiple times. Cal Raleigh was the only lefty to face McLean 3 times in this game, and he got on base all 3 times against him. And he's sick. That was a fantastic debut, but you could just see how much more difficult it was for him to get the lefties out than the righties. All 4 of the walks in this game were to the lefties. Only 4 of his 8 strikeouts also were to the lefties. So it's like, it was a battle. It definitely was a battle for him, but like the way that he got through it, and there were other good plays defensively besides the double play on the mound too. It felt like something was happening as he was pitching.
Yeah, and the thing with him, too, because you've mentioned it about the struggle with lefties and the reason why it is so hard, is that while he throws hard, the fastball is pretty unspectacular, and that's why he needs to have the sinker, but to the lefties, that sinker runs onto the barrel. His sinker is bizarre, and I don't know, again, if that's just because of the camera angle or what it was looking like, but there were times where it looked like he almost threw a rising sinker at points. The way that it breaks, it does snap off hard to the arm side, so the horizontal movement that it gets, you don't love it against lefties, but maybe if he can get that front hip sinker that we talked about in person, like that's probably where he's going to be at his best because he has the cutter, he has the slider, and the curveball is neutral to lefties. It's going to get those guys out, especially his curveball in particular.
No, the sinker, I was telling you this during the game because McLean does have such a pronounced like sidearm release that the 4-seamer almost acts more like a 2-seamer with arm side run, but the sinker's like it's true sinker with that kind of like bowling ball sinker. Like that thing winds up moving down on hitters with also the run he has on it. I was impressed he even tried to throw that front hip sinker to the lefties. Like the fact that he was trying to pull that out of his bag in his first major league start was insane. But also just like thinking about the way that he approached the lefties in this game. We saw the first 3 lefties that come to the plate. He started them with the first pitch curveball. And the first 2 of those guys, which was Raleigh and Naylor, 2 curveballs to start the game. So that was a clear one, you're not going to really see these guys 3 times if you're pushing the curveballs that much on them early. But 2, like a big respect in him knowing he had to lean on that pitch. Nolan McLean threw 19 curveballs in this start. His last 3 starts in AAA threw 19 combined curveballs. It's amazing to think about how much of a weapon this pitch was and how little he was using it at the last level he was pitching at.
I do have a genuine question, and maybe this is more for pitching guys. But like Nolan McLean's RPMs are insane. Like it's literally the RPM of a buzzsaw, what he gets. Like the numbers are higher than anybody in baseball. Does he just like have like a gift to have spin? Or do you think that other guys can get that spin, but they can't have the control, and that's the difference for Nolan McLean? Or is this just something where he's like a little freaky with how this works?
He's freaky with how this works. He's certainly freaky with his ability to spin the ball. So of full-time starters in Major League Baseball, the only guys that have a sweeper that averages 85 miles an hour, which McLean was about 85.5 in the start, are Brian Bayo, Dustin May, Max Meyer, Gavin Williams, Jesus Luzardo, Sonny Gray, Cam Schlittler. And then you have Pablo Lopez, Brandon Pfaadt, Brian Wu, Logan Webb, Luis Severino, Frankie Montas, Drew Muses, and Paul Skeens, who are at least 84.5 and above. And of all of those guys with those sweepers that are 85 miles an hour, only Dustin Mays has more horizontal movement. So this is an alien pitch. Like it's a frisbee. It's got 16 and a half inches of horizontal movement. We saw a couple get in the 20s. Like it's the way he snaps those are insane.
The swings that these guys were taking too, like they were uncomfortable. To make Randy Arozarena look like that, to make Eugenio Suarez take at bats like that, these are all-star players. These are very, very good hitters, not just for power, but for average as well. Like they get on base, they put the ball in play. The interesting thing too is that I totally get it, because even watching the replays of these pitches, I see where they're going to be swinging. You're like, oh, that's going to be a pitch low and away, and then all of a sudden it's in the other batter's box in the dirt. The movement on that thing, I'll tell you what, James, it makes me a little bit mad to see how well he pitched.
I'm pissed at how good he is, but also this is what you want with David Stearns as your executive, because everything that we said we love about David Stearns, working the margins, like every single time thinking 3 steps ahead. This is when it pisses you off as a fan, because you're like, holy shit. The whole time we were just waiting for him to maintain his rookie eligibility, because Why? I mean, this guy could be a rookie of the year. No, but what could stop Nolan McLean from being rookie of the year next year if he pitches a full season, gets to 150 innings? But at the same time, while this team,
hitter.
while this team was floundering for 2 months, needing any kind of pitching depth whatsoever, and he was wasting these bullets in AAA, you're like, damn. But that sweeper, it moves just more than a hitter's expecting, and the way it plays off the curveball, I think, is the most beautiful thing. That curveball, average RPM, most of any pitcher in baseball. Any pitcher.
That's more than Lugo.
Yes.
And that's the curveball king right
and
there.
The sweeper was in the top 10 of RPM. So again, spin rate isn't the be-all and end-all. We were obsessed with spin rate years and years ago, but just the fact that he can spin it more is crazy. But the big thing with him with that curveball is significantly more horizontal movement than batters expect based on that spin. So it kind of has the same amount of horizontal movement as a sweeper, but an extra foot of drop. So when those two pitches are coming at you, there's a moment where you can't figure those two out, and then one goes up, one goes down. Pitching Ninja also did the split of the sinker and the sweeper.
Yep.
And he was really good tunneling those pitches. And then I'll put it in the video for you guys. There's a great graphic on Baseball Savant. There's two of them. It's spin-based movement and observe-based movement. And with the spin-based movement, you could see how well the fastballs tunnel off the breaking balls and how much the breaking balls look like one another. Then one goes all the way out, then one drops all the way down. It's a nutty profile. While still acknowledging that there's going to be some struggles with lefties, you can just see the nibbling against them. There is so much juice here with Nolan McLean.
The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear. And the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet on baseball before? It's simple. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome.
He's
really
fuck.
good. Like I said, I'm pissed off at how good he is because it's like, wow, probably could have really used him for the last 2 months. That being said, I'm happy that he's this good because now we have him for the rest of the season. We have the opportunity to use him as a weapon on this team, which is something that we had been hoping would be the case this year. And also to the credit of, I guess, the Mets and David Stearns and all that, Nolan McLean did make changes at AAA. So
Yes.
This wasn't like if we went back to June when we really had these issues and we started pitching Paul Blackburn and Frankie Montas and these guys. Nolan McLean wasn't this version of himself yet. There were adjustments being made. There were changes. I think he probably could have been up 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Then you're
probably
that
not as
close to
early
the
as-
deadline anyway. You're like, okay,
I
that's
know.
David Stearns.
God, he's so good at his job.
He's so good it makes me hate him. But that's
Sleepy Stearns.
That's another one that I want to shout out. My guy Rob, who knows everything. He said that looking back through Nolan McLean from the last few weeks, he changed his arm angle slightly to kind of get more of this horizontal break, that arm side movement and the glove side movement, the other pitches on some of those pitches. So adding more run to that fastball, adding more to that sinker. And it was a lot of talk about also the cutter and the changeup, but he never even used those pitches. It was just all about the curve.
He used the cutter a little bit.
It was all about the curveball and sweeper. He only wound up throwing, how many of these cutters did he throw in this game?
I don't remember any changeups.
It was combined. It was 5% of his total pitches, the cutter and the changeup. It was all that curveball. Even the amount he was able to consistently use that sweeper against the lefties was impressive. That was his primary pitch at 36% usage rate. Like, it was in the zone a lot too.
Which it should be.
But yeah, he should be throwing that pitch as much as humanly possible because it's disgusting. Also, it's funny that he made his debut against the Mariners and we've comped him a lot to Matt Brash because, like, I've been saying on Twitter for like 2 years, this is one of the best sweepers on earth. People are like, how could you say that? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like,
because we have data.
I'm like, you have to. Like, the second he threw one of them in the spring breakout, almost 2 years ago now, it's like bang.
Me and you fell out of our
That's the
chairs.
one.
We were like, hold on, this guy was a two-way player, not just pitching.
Is at the time he actually was literally at that moment a two-way
Yeah, that's
player.
true. Yeah.
You could also feel the two-way playerness about him because, again, how well he was fielding the position. It felt like he was good at managing the highs and lows on the mound. He seemed like calm, cool, and collected. He also
He's fucking yoked.
he's fucking brolic, this dude. I also love the simplicity of his windup and his release, his
So
motion.
simple.
Just bang, bang, throw. And he even was touching the 96, 97, which while the fastball is as bad shape, like throwing that helps a lot. But he has a strange profile, but it works.
He's an uncomfortable at bat.
It works so well with those two breaking balls together. It has me giddy about what could be happening here with Nolan McLean.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to watch his next start. And also, I don't know, a little poetic that Nolan McLean lives, Paul Blackburn dies as Met DFA'd.
Yeah.
It's like
That was almost sad
probably
with that moment, yeah.
probably couldn't find two different pitchers, Nolan McLean and Paul Blackburn right now. One guy who's like all juice, all movement, all stuff, and Paul Blackburn's just like we said when we traded for him. He's going to give up 7 hits, 4 earned runs over 5 1/3 innings, and you're going to have 6 beers, and you're going to be like, all right, let's go hit, boys.
It's a lot of beers. But I respect Paul Blackburn a lot because he was kind of rehabbing this whole time, knowing how long the Mets were taking to call him up, knowing that once he got called up, he would get DFA'd. And he was spending all of his time with these guys, like Sproat and McLean, in that AAA rotation. And he was still hanging out with them, helping them, like sharing wisdom. Steve Gelbs talked about that a lot on Friday. So that's a good professional moment from Paul Blackburn. But there's also a good lesson for all of us that you don't have to make those Paul Blackburn trades anymore with what it seems like we have coming up the pike here. The fact that McLean could walk into this, I think we're going to see Sproat this year. Jonah Tong walks into AAA and fucking dominates again. Even with the new bat, even with the new baseball, it's just fastball. Even against AAA hitters, he didn't even have to go deep into his bag for a third pitch. It was just fastballs and changeups. He said, "Good luck, guys. Hope you can maybe hit it." He's not even throwing the curveball, which is a disgusting pitch. Like we're going to start steamrolling. We mentioned a little bit towards the end of the last episode about where the Mets pitching depth. I don't want to talk about 2026, but it's funny to think about how crowded this rotation already looks like heading into 2026 between guys under contract and minor leaguers who have to get shots.
I do also love that prior to McLean coming up, the whole conversation was about like, oh, Stearns and his pitching lab, he doesn't actually know what they're doing down there. There's actually nobody making it work. And then you see one of the guys that actually is the pitching lab, like Montas has stunk. There's no doubt that's been a failure thus far, and I think the Mets expected to get more out of him, and clearly they haven't. He also didn't get a spring training. I do think that's a big reason why him and Manaea both stink. We've seen that with Blake Snell in years past. It takes these guys a long time to get warm.
I told you guys this from a really shitty, probably the shittiest episode we've done, when I was in a hostile kitchen in Vietnam the day that Manaea or one of them got hurt, and I was like, you kind of have to erase these seasons now. Like, anything we get from these guys is sadly house money. Just like the idea with Kodai last year. To get that serious injury when you're beginning to ramp up, that's so bad. Because that's the first time you've put stress on yourself physically in months, and then you instantly break. Like, you're fucked.
But where I was going to put a bow on my pitching lab rant is that as soon as you see one of the guys who's actually been in the pitching lab for years, the guy that's like going to be the poster child for like, this is what we can do to you, you're like, oh, shit. And then you look at Jonah Tong, you look at Brandon Sproat, you look at the guys that they have in the minors. What did you say? Brandon Gerton made his AA debut and looked phenomenal, struck out like 10 guys. That's where you start to really see what the actual pitching lab is. And all of a sudden, everybody's dead-ass quiet about what's going on with these Mets pitchers because you're excited about Nolan McLean in the future.
Jonathan Santucci strikes out 11 in AA. We couldn't even fit him into the honorable mention of our top 10 list.
People were mad we didn't have him in there. Like, no Santucci love?
He's a 2-pitch pitcher still. Well, if he had the changeup in college, he hasn't thrown it much as a pro. But there's also could be a thing like these other guys where he has to rediscover that pitch because of other things that we've changed. So it's just that if you guys haven't, go back and listen to Mark and I's top 10 prospects that came out on Saturday, just because it's starting to get crazy with the guys that we got down there. I mean,
4 top 50 guys.
No, there's a monster building, and that's always the biggest thing with these organizations. Like this Mets team, this entire Mets era, these last 3 years. Like, between this year, last year, next year, it feels like what the Dodgers felt like in like 2012, 2013. The difference was they had Clayton Kershaw. Like, if we had one of the best pitchers of all time on these teams, like, we'd be winning a lot more regular season games.
Still had Jacob deGrom?
Yeah, that was like if we still had Jacob deGrom. That was kind of what was happening right now. But it's like it's kind of just like throwing a lot of shit at the wall with the major league team, seeing what sticks. Like, I know we have an aging core that we like, but it's like it's really about what's going on right now in the background of this organization, how much better a lot of these, because you say about Nolan McLean in the pitching lab. Nolan McLean pitches like he was built in a pitching lab.
Yes,
and he kind of was, because he was barely a pitcher when we got him. Like, he was a college closer. It was like, was he closer? No, he might have been started. I'll double check that right now.
I think he was a reliever. I thought he was a reliever. I don't know about closer.
But it's just like, you got you literally put this guy in a pitching lab, and as a two-way player, this is his first full year of pitching, and he's done this much to get better this quickly. Walked into a major league field. It gets a good lineup. This Mariners lineup is good. It's deep.
Very good.
Lots of very talented lefties. The probable American League MVP. It's like you get through that top five. It's a bit of a gauntlet, and then they stack the lefties in the bottom. It was what six lefties in this lineup on Saturday. They knew what to do to get out Nolan McLean. It's just like, oh, now you got something. Yeah. So McLean only actually started 3 games in college as a pitcher.
Wasn't Sproat and Christian Scott both relievers as well at points?
Christian
at
Scott
Florida?
was not Sproat.
Okay.
But that's, I mean,
still.
Oh, for sure. And I think that a lot of those big time college programs, you get some crowded rotations, and they don't have as much time for development like the major league teams have. They can't really play the long game in college with these guys. You kind of got, there's another pitcher who's been great recently that was reliever in college. I can't remember right now.
Brian Wu?
Oh, it was Wu. I think it was something about Schlittler too, maybe like that, but it's just.
It is funny though, just a bigger talk about college baseball, like how different that game is because like you mentioned, they don't have the time to develop truthfully these guys. It's like, man, you like had these guys on your roster, you threw them 1 inning at a time. Are you fucking stupid?
But also think about the embarrassment of riches for those top level programs where they can do that. Carson Bench was a pitcher in college too. Him and Nolan McLean roommates. And another cool thing about Nolan McLean, I saw a tweet that I sent it to you. I'm not going to shout the person out because it was fun with basic statistics. But he is a guy who's also going to get tons of ground balls, and you can see that the way that again, that was 91%.
Was bad.
That was rough. Yeah, you can't just add those together because ground ball rates batted balls and strikeout rates plate appearances. But the fact that he's going to be able to work those breaking balls low in the zone, the fact that sinker is a bowling ball, the fact that the 4-seam is more run than ride, which again isn't great, but that's also ground balls. If he can be like a 55% ground ball, 25% strikeout rate.
It's huge.
That's almost, you don't really leave a lot of space right there for hitters to actually do damage against you. And that's in that game, the Mariners had no barrels as well. So it's just
Isn't that like what Framber and like Logan Webb do basically? Strike out 25%, get 55% ground ball?
Well, Framber's the go. Framber
Framber
going like 28%,
Framber,
62%. It's like you literally can't do anything. You can't do anything against him. You have no chance. But it's a funny profile. But again, maybe Framber has the crazy curveball, but he doesn't have a sweeper. The fact that McLean can do both of those things as distinctly as he can, it's a special feel for spin. I don't really, top of my mind, I don't know which other pitcher has something like that.
I remember Jackson Jobe out of the draft had crazy spin. I don't know what it's been at the major league level, but like in high school, he was putting up crazy RPMs. There was a guy who was doing a lot of spin. He's not pitching in Major League Baseball anymore. He's in a foreign country, but he had a lot of spin too.
Yeah, he had a lot of spin. He was pretty good doing spin, but it's just, this is the kind of thing this team needed. You need a jolt of energy. You need something outside your organization.
Badly.
Also, it helps to change the clubhouse around. A lot of stuff we've been talking about. Now Lindor's hitting. It's like, okay, let's do that. Brett Beatty's starting to hit now too. And if you get
Mark Vientos hit a home run.
Mark Vientos hits these opposite field home runs every 2 weeks, and you're just like, please just come back. Please do it. Because Ryan Mauricio looked overmatched against Brian Wu. Bad matchup for him. While Beatty was a good matchup for him. The bat speed with the fastball's top of the zone. And I'm not going to let you get off this easy. You got to give Gregory Soto some credit.
I will.
Gregory Soto's been fucking awesome as a Met.
I was more worried about Gregory Soto because of the history of what I've tweeted out about Gregory Soto. The fact that I dogged him so hard when the Phillies got him, and I was right. He was horrible in Philadelphia. He's like a huge reason why their runs ended quickly. Like they were not able to get any left-handed guys out because Gregory Soto was there. That was my fear. He's been phenomenal. I obviously want him to be good. He's done a really, really good job. I've been impressed. I still don't know how he gets right-handed batters out, but lefties, he's money, and that's his job. That's what we need him for, to get Bryce Harper out, to get Kyle Schwarber out, to get Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani out.
And it's fantastic that Mendoza pulled McLean when he did before the third at-bat from Josh Naylor, who had gotten around on him, had a hard hit ball, but didn't get a base hit, especially after he really couldn't even touch Cal Raleigh in any of those at-bats he had against him. Let him face Julio Rodriguez again, who was nowhere close to any of his at-bats. That was perfection. And then the two innings.
I love that Mendoza got booed too, because that's good on the Mets fans.
Yes.
To not care about what the Mets fans at the game should not be worried about situations and what's going on. They were like, McLean's pitching well. I want more of him. That's good. Mendoza not caring what the fans want, going with the process. That's all we've ever wanted from this team and Carlos Mendoza's manager. Just trust the process, please.
And the people of Citi Field, one of the quickest and well-coordinated boos to cheers. Because it was a boo for the walk. Then the second McLean started coming towards the fans, he got a massive cheer. We gave Nolan McLean 3 different standing ovations. I've rarely ever seen a pitcher get a curtain call. But this, and And Tacoma tweeted out, like, Mets rookies to give up no runs and strike out 8 batters in their debuts. And it was just McLean and Harvey. And this, I'm not comparing these two people, but this is a similar feeling that I got when I watched him for the first time, being like, holy shit, like, this guy's good. Like, he stepped on the field and he was good. And we have not had that with a pitching prospect in so long. It's been so...
Well,
I mean,
you were jazzed for Christian Scott last year. You were amped.
I can't wait for Christian Scott next year. But then he got hurt. If Nolan McLean, I'm not going to say that. But
don't you say it.
But I'm just saying, like, that's what killed the vigor for. That's why I was so pumped about Scott last year. So I can't wait for Sproat to come up too. And then Tong right after that. Tong's the one who I'm actually keeping a sharp eye on right now.
Yeah.
The fact that he walked into AAA and he just went, fuck you, and dominated. And he has to be added to the 40-man roster this year because he's Rule 5 eligible. So why not, when you have 2 weeks to establish playoff eligibility for these guys, to put a pitcher on this team who you know for a fact is one of the 13 best pitchers in the organization? You know it.
Yeah.
What's the issue, right?
FT fans, you want to have confidence when you go out in public? Absolutely. We can't all wear a backwards hat like me, but you can get some True Classic fit shirts. It almost looks like, oh, wow, this shirt was tailored for me. Nope, it's every True Classic. This John is soft, it is smooth, and it makes you look a little jacked. I'm just saying.
And Kratz, you are jacked, and you are spot on. True Classic is the spot to go if someone's like, where do I get shirts? True Classic. The colors are fantastic. They've sold over 25 million shirts to more than 5 million customers. Their shirts just win. The feel, the tailored look, the price. We all wear True Classic on FT. I mean, Cam Maben literally can't say enough about them too next time we have Cam on. Hit up trueclassic.com/foul. Give it a shot. Upgrade your wardrobe and save on True Classic at trueclassic.com/foul. That's trueclassic.com/FOUL.
Where's Nolan McLean right now in the starting pitcher trust tree after one start? Where are you putting him?
On the Mets?
Yeah, on the Mets. Where is he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Where are you going?
Either 1 or 2 with Kodai. Because Kodai had a good
Peterson
start
love?
last week. Let's see Peterson. Peterson's had a couple bad ones in a row, but I guess his floor right now is 3.
That's kind of yeah. He's at least the third. Although Clay Holmes looked pretty good tonight.
But Clay Holmes is what he is. When people want to act like Clay Holmes, I love, this is my favorite thing, and Mets fans do this time of year. The grades,
the flip,
the offseason grades, and saying like Clay Holmes, F. Clay Holmes has like a 3.6 ERA for 130 innings.
He was a reliever.
We said this last episode. We'll say it this episode. If he pitches well next week, we're going to say it in the next episode. This is such a fucking incredible win for the Mets, Clay Holmes. If you took Clay Holmes off this team and just replaced him with nothing, we'd be even worse. We'd be under 500.
Replaced him with Paul Blackburn, the other guy who would have been instead of him.
I mean, maybe Quintana. I understand that one, the go back and forth with that. But the other thing to watch with McLean now is the fact that he is already at a career high in innings. We're already at 119. Last year, he threw 110.
Here's what I'll say. At some point, you got to set a career high.
Oh, no. Setting career highs expected, but I don't think these guys are going to let them go more than like 20, 25% past the career high, which is why the anger comes now from us being like, where has this guy been? But that's something to watch, right? I do think that you'll at least see him cap Clay Holmes-wise around 70, 80 pitches, I think. But you're going to keep letting him pitch, but you can't. It's interesting now because he's well past. He's not well past, but he's past it already. So I do wonder how long they let him go. Because I think Tong
he's
is
got
similar.
150 in him this year, I think.
I think 150 could be the high end of it. I think 140 is where they come.
That's only 40 more innings than last year.
Yeah, I think 40 is a lot of innings.
Yeah, I mean, but he's got to do it at some point. They got to do it at some point, all these guys.
And Tong's got a little more. Tong's at 108. Last year was 113, so he's got the same. So that's why you got limited bullets in these guys. At some point, they have to come at the major league level. And that's my bold prediction I'll leave with as we do this pitching prospect talk. Nolan McLean wrap up. Jonah Tong's going to throw a pitch for the Mets this year.
Okay. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope I see it. I think that means good things if we see Jonah Tong.
Hopefully. I mean, or it's the last card we could pull. And I guess the last thing from this series, first of all, the Little League stuff was awesome. They did a great job.
Yeah, it was great.
Everything.
Did that.
What?
The video of McNeil sliding down the hill at Williamsport on the cardboard and the little kid who is just absolutely chirping the shit out of it.
Yep.
You scared McNeil? And I love him calling him McNeil too. You scared McNeil? You worried? You can't do this. You worried about this? You scared? Unbelievable. If you guys didn't see it, the Mets posted on all their social media. This little 8-year-old, 10-year-old is just chirping the shit out of McNeil. And I think it got to him. McNeil played a great game today.
Come on, McNeil. Hold on. Whoa. Jeff, are you not scared?
I mean, he'll play the great game. The whole team played the great game against a really good pitcher in George Kirby. They popped George Kirby's ERA up like a full run. It's just now the problem is that leaving this game, the only thing I'm thinking about is Francisco Alvarez. That sucks because we've heard initial reactions are not good, and we're going for the MRI tomorrow. So it seems like he's done again. And for some reason, when Francisco Alvarez runs the bases, his thumb ligaments get in the way. I don't know how, I don't know why, but the second that happened and he was going like this, the fact that he just got really hot and he was already blazing, ready to like be the difference maker in this lineup again, and then this happens, his fourth serious hand injury already in his career between both of his hands. It's just it sucks.
No, it absolutely took the wind out of my sails there. That was a tough one. I guess maybe Kevin Parada maybe gets his chance one day.
I mean, maybe, or just probably go right with the Hayden.
He's got to need to add to the 40-man roster, I think, this year, right? I mean,
I think so, probably because that's that year. Oh, it's just the fact that
sucks.
The fact that that's it and that's how it goes is horrible because he had
especially because we can see the difference now in what Francisco Alvarez is, where he's still not even there yet, but you're getting the glimpses, versus what Luis Torrens is, where Luis Torrens is a backup catcher. He gives you the throwing out runners ability that is elite in baseball.
He doesn't have a hit
but
in
Luis
3
Torrens
months.
hasn't, I was about to say, I don't think he's got an extra base hit since May. Like, it feels like forever. And truthfully, as much as I love Luis Torrens as a backup, I can't watch him play every day. I cannot watch a platoon of him and Hayden Sanger for the rest of the year. I will be not feeling great. That's hitting a pitcher, basically.
And Alvarez is lacing the ball. We finally put him back up towards the top of the order. Now he's behind Jeff hitting 6th. His OPS is back like to 800. It's just
He's so good.
It was happening so perfectly at the right time, exactly when we needed him to step back up and be great. And now to lose him is, again, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's horrific. If he's out, he could be out the rest of the regular season. I think he's probably out for the rest of the regular season. You guys hopefully will know while you're listening to this. So either we will sound really stupid or we'll probably sound really stupid. But it feels like based on the initial language they're using about this, it seems
terrified.
Bad. Yeah, it seems very bad. Also, we'll mention it was the game Sunday game. Francisco Lindor, hardest hit ball of the season by 2 full miles an hour.
Nice.
And
it's good. I mean,
harder than any ball he hit last year as well.
He's swinging the bat so much better. It's so obvious. Like when he's pulling those balls down the line as a right-handed batter, you know that swing's going well because at times his right-handed swing does get very, very, very long. Lefty, I feel like when he's like pulling down the line, I love it. That's where I think he still is his best. But it's those line drives up the middle to that like left center field-ish gap where it's not really going the other way. No, as a lefty, I'm saying. When he does those like to the left center field gap as a lefty, those are phenomenal. That's where I'm like, okay, I think he's pretty locked in. And like you mentioned, the OPS is creeping back up to 800, which is where like Ellie De La Cruz's OPS is and like all the good shortstops in baseball with the defense that Lindor continues to give us. And the fact that he's the only shortstop in Major League Baseball history to have 20 5 seasons in his Major League career. Insane. I mean, this guy, again, we had been upset with how he's playing, but now that it looks like he's starting to heat up, it's nice to see Francisco Lindor back.
It's also insane to me that people still get like, I'm using like the most ferocious, sarcastic air quotes here, like scared about Francisco Lindor. Like how many years do we have to do this and have the same like rigmarole with him? Like he's going to get cold, he's going to get hot, he's going to be worth 5 WAR at the end of it, he's going to have around 800 OPS and play, again, I know he made another error, but play good shortstop defense. The shortstop defense is starting to tick in the wrong direction, I think, but he's also like, I think one of the oldest starting shortstops in the league. I'm pretty sure about that.
He also still, I think, is like 90th percentile in OAA at the position. So it's like he may not be like Dansby Swanson where you're seeing like 16 OAA at shortstop anymore, but like 6, 7's pretty elite still.
We are getting some, not really actually. I was hoping to see the bat speed has trended up for Lindor, but actually it's not. It's really just still holding fast between 70 and 71 all season.
It's kind of what he is, I think.
Yeah, it's fine. But again, if he's productive, and now he is productive, Brand Nimmo's hitting against, like now we're starting to see like what this lineup feels like when it can't click and doing it against a good pitcher in George Kirby. 12 hits, a million hard hit balls. Like it was just over and over and over and over again.
There's a common denominator here, James, and when we do our series preview for the Nationals, you have your duty to fulfill again, which is to tell the Mets hitters what is happening because we've now done it with 4 pitchers. And they've hit all of them. They've hit every single one. So you gotta. This is a lot on your shoulders right now because we know maybe some guys aren't really doing their jobs as well as you are there.
Yeah, messed up advanced scouting, James Shiano game plans. But then it was cool. The Wu game plan, you could see what I was saying, where it's just like, it was also so funny having him versus McLean because they're the opposite pitchers. If you combine them, the best pitcher in the history of the sport, you combine those guys, you get like Sandy Koufax. But it's just the fact that Wu is just, I'm going to throw you 70% fastballs high in the zone. Good luck. And McLean's like, I'm spinning everything. Like, you're never even going to be able to see it. But it is, it was really cool watching. I just, God, the fact that Francisco Alvarez has to get hurt now to take the wind out of our sails after
maybe he'll be okay.
Maybe he'll be okay. Yeah, maybe he'll be okay.
That's what we'll have to be. Are we gonna do our media marvel? Because
yeah, no, I have one that's separate from what we're gonna do, but there's one massive one that we have to do.
Take it away, James.
So I want to get this one out of the way quickly. I don't know how intently you were watching Sunday Night Baseball with when Rob Manfred got in the booth. He
no sound on.
So he was talking about expansion coming to Major League Baseball, which they've been talking about this for years now. We think it's going to happen, whether it be Nashville, whether it be Vancouver, Vegas. We know there's going to be 2 new teams in baseball probably in the next 5 years. He said when that happens, it will be an opportunity to geographically realign the divisions.
Whoa!
And then we'll get the super division: Mets, Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies for the rest of our lives. And it's going to be the teams
that's the worst.
It's going to be the teams of 4 of the 6 highest payrolls. We're going to have to play each other all the time. We're going to absolutely cannibalize each other for the rest of our lives.
It's a good thing the salary cap's coming.
Yes.
Won't actually matter then, I guess.
Salary cap.
It's going to make everything fair, right? The salary cap. That's the reason you have it there.
That's it. No one's going to be spending money anymore.
So the Pirates can still spend $20 million a year
and still be bad. Perfect. But
yeah, no, I like the chaos. Like if I'm playing MLB The Show, that's sick. That's awesome. Mets, Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies. In real life, I don't want that. I mean, we talked about it before with some people where like the Mets when interleague play like was not as prevalent. It was crazy that we just like played the Yankees all the time. Like that was a major disadvantage when
every year.
Yeah, like the Nationals get to play the Orioles. Like 2 like terrible teams were beating the shit out of each other every single game. Mets are like, what if we play one of the best teams in baseball ever every single year?
Yeah, I think if we realign geographically, I'd like to petition to be part of the National League Central.
Oh, I'd love to be a part of the Central.
Let's be the Central.
Let's take Citi Field and move it over there.
Let's be in the National League Central. Let's send the Brewers to the East. Let's see how each of those teams do for the next decade.
Yeah, you think that the Brewers will be the best team in baseball if they're playing the NL East?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the Brewers' black magic. I don't even want to try.
Well,
to
they lost
today,
which they didn't fucking help us today. Whatever.
But tell people about the real media marvel this week.
Yeah, I mean Brandon Tierney just went on WFAN and basically had one of the craziest things I've ever heard said on public radio. Just straight up talking about Juan Soto not being the age that Juan Soto claims he is, which.
Now, most of you will not believe me. If you gave me a chance to put him on the Yankees right now for the contract he signed with the Mets or the contract that the Yankees offered, my answer would be now and will be forever. I'm good. Pass. I think he's great for the Mets. I think you got him at the right time. I think you needed that for all the things Sal and I talked about, perception, blah, blah, blah. I'm good. Now, I'm not good to the point where I'm feeling good about the Yankees team, and that's a Cashman thing. But 15 years of this, honestly, I don't. Does he look 26? Does he? No, I'm being honest. Like, are you doing the old Albert Pujols? I shouldn't even start this. It's just going to get me in trouble. But does he look 20? When you're 26, you still have a youthful glow. Does he look 26?
Yeah, but he's been in baseball for like 7+ years. So I got to give him a little bit more of a.
Well, so
remember when he came in, he looked a little bit more of a baby face. Now he's grown into his own.
Okay. Yeah, I got it, and I can't prove it. But listen, in my own mind, while I don't know for sure, I think that there's a good chance. I'm thinking this whole deeper. I think that there's a good chance he's not 26. I'll say it. Whatever.
I won't lie. I'm sure that there's plenty of baseball players that their ages are different.
Agreed. But we're talking about this one.
And height and weight as well.
I'm not going to make any claims because this is a podcast. Everything's alleged, but that's a pretty insane comment to make about a young Latino player that I don't think gets made about young American players. Pete Alonso hasn't had a good head of hair since he was 21. I don't know if there was ever questions about the age of Pete Alonso based on the way that he looks.
For sure, but there always have been those kinds of things said because there are just different record-keeping processes in these countries. And it is a logical fallacy, but it does make sense that if you're a 16-year-old but you're actually 18 years old. You just make more money in those places. But then shout out to a great member of the Mets community, Casey at the Bat, did a great thread with every single public photograph that Juan Soto's ever had. He went to Facebook. He got Facebook pictures.
Hell yeah.
Going by the year and showing when Juan Soto was photographing himself looking at his age, when he was clearly a teenager, when he was supposed to be a teenager, looked like he was clearly in his early 20s, he was supposed to be in his early 20s. And now the fact this guy's been on major league weight regimens and like for years now, the fact that he's like a buff 26 going on 27-year-old, people can't believe it. It's just like, guys, the way that Brandon Tierney was doubling down on this for a player that, we have to say it probably too often, has been objectively so good this year in Juan Soto.
Incredible.
The only player in Major League Baseball right now to have 30 home runs and 20 stolen bases. But he doesn't have a youthful glow, according to Brandon Tierney, who for some reason is the expert on these kinds of things. So allegedly now we have to be spreading these lies with no basis in reality whatsoever that Juan Soto's lying about his age. It's just the way people feel. Like, we have done this a bit in this podcast in the past, specifically with the Albert Pujols thing, just because we know that when Octavio Dotel talked about playing youth baseball, Albert Pujols, that they were in the same league, and Pujols is listed as like 5 years younger than Dotel. Yeah. So that's a funny thing. Like, a lot of these kids do play up, but the fact that it was that much, it's funny. But yeah, so Casey at the Bat, it was pictures and pictures of Juan Soto going through a whole thread about how young he was. Got one from 2017 where Juan Soto looks like a child when he should have been like a 17-year-old.
Yeah, it's
19-year-old, 2017.
It's pretty insane, again, to publicly make those statements. It's like, again, I think you guys know the word I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it because that's crazy. But to say that publicly, it's like a self-report. It's so bizarre why you would ever
we knew already
make
about
that.
him.
I know, but why would you ever make that your claim? This isn't even like, again, all publicity, good publicity, whatever. Like, WFAN sucks. We know that radio station's like a joke with what they say 99% of the time on the airwaves, and they're doing anything to stay relevant, and we're feeding into it because we're talking about them. But I don't think anybody who heard Brandon Tierney say that he thinks Juan Soto is older than he actually is like, you know what? I got to tune in to see what this guy's got to say next week, because I think he's just speaking the facts that we don't get from anybody else.
Yeah, it's the same type of covert language that we told you guys about last week when John Frusciante calls David Stern slick.
Yeah.
It's those
when people call Juan Soto lazy.
Yes.
I mean, like, objectively speaking, he's not lazy.
Absolutely not.
He's stealing bases. He's run the bases better than he ever has. And also, it's really funny because it drives my dad nuts when people like get on Soto for being lazy, not running out the ground balls to first base, all that kind of stuff. Pete hits ground balls, doesn't run the ball, run
McNeil
out every single time.
Run the ball.
Yeah, McNeil didn't run it out. Brandon Nimmo, I know a big thing with Soto, right, was he's the last guy out of the dugout every single time. I was at like 3 games in the last week. Brandon Nimmo's out of the dugout last a lot of times. Brett Beatty's been out of the dugout last. Sometimes you just aren't out first.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy the cherry picking, the terminology, and the language that's used when you talk about Juan Soto versus some other players in Major League Baseball, specifically Brandon Tierney's language that he used.
Yes, it's very specific. I think you guys know what we're getting at here, because it seems like things that are not being said about other players who do similar things, if not worse. I mean, again, Juan Soto just got his first 20 steal season. The only 30-20 hitter in Major League Baseball. That is fucking crazy to think about.
He's stealing that much because he's older than what he says, James. That's always what happens. Guys who are older than they claim steal more. That's usually what happens.
Did you notice he didn't have a youthful glow?
It's kind of like, what did Clappish say? He felt somber.
He was somber and fat. You called him fat too.
Fat and somber. Yeah.
It's just it's again, like, you know this is going to happen when someone like Juan Soto, who's brash, who's young, who's talented, is the highest paid athlete of all time. People like this are going to take shots.
Like, I do love saying he's the highest paid athlete of all time because he's ours, but like, AAV's not the highest paid athlete of all time. There's other athletes that beat him in that. Yeah,
but the NBA, Shea Gilgeous is about to make $1 million a game.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, over a term of a contract, one singular contract given out, yes, but every player in the NBA that's any sort of good is going to make significantly more than Juan Soto will in that contract.
I don't know, 850 million. Only a couple will make more than that.
If Shea's going to be getting paid $80 million a year, he's what, 25?
It's also that's the similarity too, is that Juan Soto, because he was so good when he was so young, got to the major league level where he could sign this kind of contract at this age. Same with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having another great season. And these are also the same kinds of things that some media members say about him. That's weird. That's a weird coincidence that he's also lazy.
What could it be?
It's crazy. Yeah. Well, he's also a tremendous athlete. You ever see Vladimir Guerrero make a scoop at first base, do the splits? He's a freak, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But it's just also similar thing happening right now. Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the guy who, again, like there's been some conflicting reports. We're not gonna comment on those, but if there's actually a chance that the Diamondbacks trade him as one of the best hitters in baseball, that'll be one of the first offseason episodes of the Mets'd podcast. But this language that people use around Juan Soto, the tone is pervasive, and it's a shame because he's so fucking talented. He is so good game in and game out. He does so many things to help his team win nonstop every single day. We've already gotten so used to his excellence that it's no longer even amazing anymore. The fact that he's sitting around 900 OPS, again, the only 30-20 guy in the league, and people are like he's having a bad year. He's like, you watch this guy play baseball every single day, you're kind of amazed by it.
The 150 WRC plus is a bad year for Juan Soto. Just let that sink in. That's sick. That's so awesome. But that's the media marvel for us. We're going to move on to the series preview here. We got the Washington Nationals. Not going to go too in-depth. Of course, we're going to let James tell us what the pitchers throw, what the Mets hitters should look like. It's been fucking working, so we're going to keep doing that. But what are our pitching matchups? Nationals are, what a weird team they are right now.
Yeah, I don't even think weird's the word. I think they're just weird, strange, like whatever. But pitching matchups this series. So we got an off day Monday. Everyone enjoy your off day. And we also got 6:45 start times in Washington. So be mindful of 6:45 start times. So 6:45 Tuesday night, David Peterson versus Jake Irvin. Wednesday, 6:45, Kodai Senga versus Brad Lord. And then Thursday, the podcast God's blessed us, Mark. A 4:00 start time in DC.
Oh, it's still not even 1. What the fuck?
Sean Manaea versus Mackenzie Gore.
Ooh, battle of the lefties who have been
horrible.
Yeah.
Now Gore's last 2 starts have been good, but like we're gonna have to see Jake Irvin, who is just the absolute definition of a Mets killer, which sucks because
crushes us.
Other teams kind of hit him pretty well, usually most of the time. It's going to be steadied out like curveballs, just lots and lots of curveballs. He totally lost his slider at the beginning of the season. He found it lately over the last few months. And it's like he's still not really having a good year. His ERA is over 5. His whip is 1.4. But just it's going to be lots of curveballs probably early in counts. Definitely, especially for the lefties. Look for curveballs in the zone early. Almost sit curveball early.
Jake Irvin's like exactly why you can't eye test. Because if you watch Jake Irvin pitch, you'd be like, pretty good pitcher. Like, I think this guy's got some stuff. And then you look at the numbers, you're like, oh, okay. I understand what the issue is.
He has moments of being good. Like, I still think Jake Irvin.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I think he'll last for a long time in the league. Like, when you could spin a curveball like that.
He passes the eye test.
You're good until you're like 50. Like, Charlie Moore's still just ripping curveballs like that. Brad Lord's another interesting one. He's had a good year, but it's very fastball slider heavy. And the slider's like the tight gyro slider. So it's a little bit more platoon neutral. But that's kind of what you're going to get from him. It's going to be the lefties are going to just see so many fastballs, and it's fine fastballs around 95. But it's just and then he'll do changeups to the lefties. But he does that thing like I was talking about with McLean, where his 4-seam fastball acts like a 2-seam fastball. It has natural sink on it. He's basically a side armor. It has a good bit of arm side run. So he's going to be a ground ball guy. So that might be the game to attack the singles. That's a great game. Watch out for the Mark Vientos Brad Lord matchup. That's one I think is going to be good. I like that, and I like Ronnie against him too. I don't know if we're going to be able to get both those guys in the lineup, but I do like both of those matchups for Brad Lord because the fastball is a sinker, and then the sinker is a bowling ball. And then Mackenzie Gore, he has lost it lately. He found his last 2 starts. His whole thing is breaking ball consistency and command. Also just command in general, because Mackenzie Gore, he's another guy. He looks like he could be Clayton Kershaw.
Yes.
He just doesn't know where the ball is going. Imagine if Clayton Kershaw threw 98 miles an hour, because that's like what Mackenzie Gore kind of could be, especially with the new slider he's developed this year. But of late, the zone rate in that slider and the curveball have just dropped like a rock. So Mackenzie Gore is almost like a see a strike pitcher. And I think he kind of is, which is crazy. Like you have to see if you could do that. And who was talking about it? I think that Coney or Eduardo Perez was talking about that during the game on Sunday about some of these pitchers. Maybe I was listening to the Dodgers broadcast on Friday when they were talking about it. It was Randy Vasquez, because you basically wanted to let Randy Vasquez throw you a strike because you don't know if
he can't do it.
That's the thing. You don't know if he's going to, so you want to see that strike. But then you get up against a guy like Brian Wu, and even today they met George Kirby. The approach was great. We attacked George Kirby, who's a prolific strike thrower. So I think that's something like attack Jake Irvin. He throws strikes. But with Mackenzie Gore, see if he can throw strikes first.
All right. Offense-wise, James Wood, he's been heating up again. He got a little bit cold, but he's been heating up again. CJ Abrams is still really good. I don't really got anything else to say about this lineup.
There's like some, moderately, well, Luis Garcia kills the Mets. Oh, he's injured.
True.
Right now. Oh, no, he's not. He's back. Dylan
He
Cruz.
played, yeah.
Dylan Cruz is back from injury. I think people are sleeping on how good Dylan Cruz is just because he started the season 0 for 19. He's an awesome baseball player. And then Riley Adams, some of the fastest bat speed in the league.
And also kills the Mets. I think he has like 40% of his major league home runs against the Mets.
They just DFA'd Nathaniel Lowe, who was picked up by the Red Sox, filling their first base void.
Oh, wow, nice. Good pickup.
And Josh Bell, who also kills the Mets in this lineup. But again, just get on top of these guys. Just hit them. Again, also, can I read you some of the names in the bullpen?
Yeah, go for it. I'd like to just hear the names.
PJ Poulin.
Who? Is that a real name? PJ Poulin?
PJ Poulin. Connor Pilkington with a K. Connor with a K.
Oh, I know about Pilkington.
Orlando Ribalta.
That's not one I've heard.
Shinosuke Ogasawara.
I do know him.
Yeah.
I'll save my comments on him.
So that it's, again, I'm saying names, but you get to these poor starters early. Be aggressive, but be aggressive more so on Lord and Irvin than Mackenzie Gore, and then let's just beat the piss out of his bullpen. Let's get the momentum going. Let's walk into Atlanta next week acting like we have something, like we got chip on our shoulders, ready to go.
You think Brandon Tierney will mention that he doesn't believe Shinosuke Ogasawara is 27, or you think he's going to hold that one back?
We had to do a whole episode about Ronald Acuna when his own manager called him lazy when he's like one of the best players in baseball. So it's crazy. These people get away with what they do, and even those guys are on the radio. That's why you guys come listen to Mets'd Up podcast, because we're
James
better.
We got Frankie Peppers.
I'm checking. So now I'm conflicted about Frankie Peppers because we just won our first series without Frankie Peppers.
Did he send?
He sent. If we sent, we're playing.
Okay.
And the Nationals are a good test for that.
Yeah, it was a good test.
So we luckily do have Frankie Peppers.
Thank God.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing?
How you doing?
Don't let the Mets get hot and trust the sauce, gentlemen. Finally, a series win. A good-looking series win, and I had bolognese yesterday. I had bolognese today. The boys are eating bolognese. Life is good. We win the Little League Series game. Kid gets all nervous talking to Pete. It's all good, gentlemen. I do wish I would be able to have gotten to Citi Field.
Wait, I love Power
Part
Mode.
2?
Saturday. I do want to thank Sean, and I hope you boys had a lovely time at the ball games. And hopefully this is the sign of something good coming for this team. We really need it. So we got to keep this momentum going, gentlemen. It's bolognese every day till the end of the season. I will suffer congestive heart failure for this team. Whatever. I'm going to do it. Anyway, boys, hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Let's go, Mets.
God, it's so nice to hear Frankie's voice after a good series.
If Frankie does bolognese every single day for the rest of the season and something good happens, this is now officially like cosmic level of shit.
There's got to be a new disease, right? If you eat bolognese every day, like that's just
It's
so
called
much
being
like
Italian. That's anti-Italian discrimination.
Sorry, let's say that for Brandon Tierney.
But it does piss me off now looking back at these last few weeks about how many, not even 50-50 games we lost, how many like 80.
Why are we doing this?
Because this is baseball. We have 6 weeks left. We need to make the playoffs. We have Steve Cohen going up against Bob Castellini, Mr. 25 billion versus Mr. Under a billion. You can't miss the playoffs against this team. It's just, we could have just squeaked out any of those freaking games. Just having 2 more wins would feel so good right now. But that's it. You got to look forward, not back. It's just got to keep playing good ball. And the Nationals are a good team to play good ball against.
That's baseball, Susan. And that's why you listen to the Mets'd Up podcast. Hear what we got to say. Thank you guys for listening, watching, enjoying this episode. As always, another long one. But you guys have been liking these long episodes, so we'll keep giving them to you, especially because we got a lot to say. Make sure you are following us on all our social media at Mets'd Up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the Mets'd Up podcast YouTube channel if you have not yet done so. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. You can follow James on social at
James Shiano.
And I'm Giraffe Neck Mark with a C. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. We will catch you all after the National Series. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.